go find another one. What I'd really like to find is a local company that's not a big brand. Here we go. Let's just go find another one. What I'd really like to find is a local company that's not a big brand. Here we go. 𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗦𝗧𝗘𝗥 LLC. Let's look at that. Here we go. All right, so here's another site, 𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗦𝗧𝗘𝗥. A little bit hard to say. All right, but this looks to be a local company. So first thing I'm going to do is shrink this down and just see if it's responsive for mobile. So I would say for the most part, it's responsive for mobile. This is a little weird over here, but you did see that as I shrunk it down, it is responsive. It changes its kind of look and feel. So I think it probably gets a B on the mobile friendly side. So that's one thing. Next, it is secure, HTTPS, which is pretty common nowadays. I don't run across too many sites that are not anymore, which is good. So that's great. Logo top left, it is clickable, takes me to the home page. That's great. Phone numbers top right. Now I do notice that this top number is not clickable, but the bottom number is click to call. So that's kind of weird. I don't know why they even need two numbers up there unless they're concerned that people in the 703 or people in the 202 aren't going to dial a 703 number. I don't know. I don't think that's really a thing anymore, but for some reason that number is not clickable, click to call. One more time, I'm going to shrink that down and see what happens to the phone numbers here. They're still both there and only the bottom one is click to call. So, all right, not sure why that is the case, but quite honestly, you just need one number up there. My other comment about the phone number is I love that it's big. I think that is fantastic for people that just land here and want to pick up the phone and call. That's fantastic. I love the free consultation button here. So easy. What is my next step for somebody? Now, the problem with the free consultation button is probably that it doesn't stick out. There's also one over here on the left, which is the same, but the colors are all the same as the logo. It kind of blends in with everything else, so it doesn't stick out. So when I talk about having an obvious next step, I don't know if it's obvious. I think they could find another color that matches these two colors that works well on a color wheel, but still kind of sticks out here. That would probably be good. Now, when it comes to content, they've got a decent amount of content here. I'm going to call it 700 words, maybe a little bit less. Not horrible. For a homepage, that's pretty good. It's hard to write a lot of content for a homepage, but we're going to look at some of the internal pages here in a minute just to see what that is. And actually, now that I realize this, I'm actually on an internal page, 𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗦𝗧𝗘𝗥/Washington, D.C. window treatment / Washington, D.C. shades. So I see what they did there. They're really trying to shove those keywords in to get that Washington, D.C. They might have gone overboard with this, quite honestly. I don't know why this particular folder even exists. Washington, D.C. window treatment / Washington, D.C. shades. So I landed on a shades page in particular, but this could probably be 𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗦𝗧𝗘𝗥.com/location/ or not even location, product / shades or something like that would probably be a lot better for this. The content on the page is going to tell Google where you're at, not so much the URL, but nonetheless. All right. Product videos. I'm going to click on that. Let's see what that does. So I'm on the shades page. Let's say I'm interested in buying some shades. Click on that. And it took me to an introduction for shutters. All right. Not the best user experience. Plantation shutters for doors. Well, I'm looking for shades. Specialty shutters. Plantation shutters for bay windows. So, oh, Roman shades. Finally, I scrolled down. If I'm on a mobile device, probably not doing all that, quite honestly. So that's a usability thing that's maybe not the best. And again, I understand product videos is good, but what would be better is, let's look at this page. Why not put shade related videos on the shade page? That would make more sense. I would think that would be good. Newsletter, click on that. I do notice that this site is pretty slow. So, all right, here's the newsletter. It is a woofu form with lots of fields. The one thing I'll say about forms is the more fields you have, the less likely people are to fill them out. That's one thing. Also, if it's a newsletter, why do you need my mailing address? I would think name, email, submit. Just get the lead. Also, newsletter, nobody's going to do this. Nobody's going to click this and sign up for your newsletter anyway, especially since there's no offer. There's not like sign up for our newsletter and get $50 off your first appointment or something like that. Would at least make it more appealing. But just having the word newsletter there, nobody's going to do anything about that. In fact, product videos and newsletter need to be pushed down to page, and latest projects of all these things, latest projects needs to be up here by free consultation. That's what people are interested in. They're going to look at this and they're going to see their home compared to what some of the other things that this company has done. So, all right, there's latest projects coming soon. So there's not even anything there. If there's nothing there, just take the link off, to be honest. All right, share feedback. Let's see what that does. Takes me to another form. All right. I don't know. In my opinion, I would not add this to the site. It has no credibility. So Google's not going to take anything that anybody fills out, even if somebody gives you all 5 stars and then you go post that on your site about how great you are. Google's not going to give that any value, because your mom could go fill this out and your aunt and your uncle could all go fill this out and it would probably not be legit, right? So they're not going to take that at value. So again, maybe not the best link. So, all right, view our gallery. Let's see what we got here. This is another very highly trafficked page on a lot of our client sites and coming soon. So I would just take it off of there. If there's nothing there, don't put it there. All right, then we got logos at the bottom. I do like to review us on Google 5 stars. Let me click on that. All right, it opens a new window. That's good. Review. You can actually link on it. It pops straight to here. This is all kind of fuzzy. Don't know if that was on purpose or not, but nonetheless, there they are. I do like the socials being in the footer. I would definitely keep social media in the footer and not put it in the header. We do come across a lot of sites that have social media in the header. One thing that does is tends to distract people, and they kind of start going down the rabbit hole of social media. And when somebody comes to a website, what you really want them to do is the obvious next step, which is typically sign up for an appointment, right? So having that other stuff up here clutters the page. It also distracts them. So, all right, enough about this site. Here's the homepage, by the way. More content, which is good. I think from a content standpoint, they're doing good. A lot of these links on the left are useless. I would probably instead just use links across the top. I would also make this top sticky. So as you scroll down the page, this blue line here just stays there at the top of the page. So what, excuse me, when I get to here and I've read enough, I'm ready to get started. Now there's no obvious next step for me at this point. I have to go find it, right? I have to go back up here and do this. If this stuff was already sticky at the top of the page, that would make somebody who was wanting to create or generate a lead or become a lead, make that easier for them. So, all right, let's grab this URL and let's go ahead and plug this into Ahrefs. So let's go up here, plug this in and see how these guys are doing from this standpoint. So let's go to overview. All right, domain rating of 0.6. So not even 1. So pretty low in the overall scheme of things. Very similar to the previous site we looked at, 17 referring domains totaling 25 links. And they're ranking for 108 keywords, which is a loss of 91. So almost 50% loss in the last year. So not ranking for a lot, not doing anything on the SEO side, but let's look at the other charts. So the yellow line is pages, organic pages found online. And you can see 2 years ago, that number was 34. Now that number is 30. So definitely not putting any content on their site as an ongoing strategy, which they should be doing. And then the blue line is number of links accrued. Now this is increasing 11 to 17. So it is, an upward trajectory. It's just not a great one, but moving in the right direction there. So, all right. And lastly is organic keywords. So 2 years ago, they were ranking for 233 keywords. In July of 23, they were ranking for 300 keywords, and they've been on a roller coaster down since then to 150. So definitely a big loss there since July. That's unfortunate. Now, sometimes when we see this growth and then we see this drop, this could be that they decided to write some blogs, right? They started to do some content, or maybe they did a press release, or they did something to get some links or some content on their site. And Google responded by giving them some more organic traffic, which is great. But then they stopped, right? They just kind of one-timed it maybe, and they benefited from that shortly, and then it went right back down. So this speaks to the fact that you have to be consistent. You have to keep doing it. You have to continually add content to your site. So every time Google comes to your site to crawl it, there's more information for them to see, more information for them to crawl through, more things for them to learn. And then the big drop off here is because there was just no fresh content. So, that's what happens. So, all right. So enough about that website.